TGIF. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. I know you are ready for the weekend to begin. So, welcome to the Just Ask Char advice channel. We will be getting started very soon. So get comfortable, get ready, and relax. We sincerely thank you all for your support. This channel is sponsored by you, the subscribers. When you want to hear another perspective for yourself or a friend, then just send an email for advice to JustAskChar@gmail.com. All right, we are ready to get this show started. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. There will always be a perspective or some advice that someone can benefit from and use. Now, here's your host of the show, Char Willett.
Welcome, 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 TGIF, everyone. Welcome to another episode on the Just Ask Char Advice channel. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming through. I really, really do. Hope everyone is doing well. Another week. And hopefully everyone is safe and well, and family is well and safe. And as far as the word on the street with this pandemic, some of the students will be going back to school late in the year in Chicago. They're going to test it out like in November, see how that goes. And if it doesn't go well, I guess they go back home, but they're definitely going to try it. Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to go on a little diatribe, but it's okay. I think it's okay. There is something disturbing I seen earlier. I saw a video on Facebook post, and this woman, she ran over this guy. Now, in the video, you clearly hear her yell about how many years she invested. I think I heard the number 18. I don't care if the number was 8. What I want to say to that is the key word that she chose to do that. That's what she did. No one else made her do it. She wasn't handcuffed and said, "Oh, I got to stay here because he said so." No, she chose to stay there for the however long it was. I believe I heard the number 18. Um, I would not use that as an article reaction, even though I reacted to it, because it's a little bit too graphic for me. And I think it's too graphic to show. If the video is still there, you can check it out. If not, then I'm not surprised Facebook could use it as evidence because clearly the woman is walking around the body, and I thought the man was dead. I really did. But I found out right before the show that he's in critical condition. The woman is seen yelling at the body. Um, Now, she probably thought he was dead, possibly, but she started yelling at the dead body. And I'm going to use it that way because I don't think she knew that he was still alive. I didn't even, looking at it, I didn't even think he was. And it just did something to me. What irritates me a lot is people do not take responsibility for the choices that they make. They get angry at someone else for their decision. That just makes no sense to me. If someone, okay, let me dial it back a little bit. I'll put myself in it because I'm speaking from, actually from my experience. Everyone experience is different, so okay, I get it. I've never been one that was a follower. And what I mean by that, if I find that your leadership is not in a good direction or even a direction for me, I won't go in it. And it's always been that way. Now, with that being said, this woman made a decision. Her decision was to stay the 18 years. Okay. But why did it take you to talk to the man after you run him over and thought he was dead? I'm pretty sure. Pick up the bumper of the car and slam it on his body. Is that communication? Is that how you communicate? I guess so. Nothing could be done after you do that to someone. Either you want to work it out or you don't. But you cannot get back time. Once it's gone, it is gone. No time within 18 years did this woman realize that this wasn't the right direction for her. What about the 17th year? The 16th? What about the 15th? Okay, 14. That's an even number. How about that one? No? 13, 12, 11. What about a decade? How about that? And I do not accept excuses when it comes down to a decision that you make to blame the other party. You use that, a lot of people use that excuse. Well, I just stayed for the kids. Well, if that's the decision you made, that was your decision. You said, I stayed for the kids. Well, that was a decision, darling. And who made that decision? You did. No one else. Excuses, cannot accept them. Because one thing's for certain, however many years, 18 years, you're going to give more time than that. But guess who you're going to give it to? You're going to give it to the state penitentiary, that is. There are too many people that make decisions, men and women, and blame the other party or other entities about how things work out or don't work out. There are no excuses. And I tell you, as women, there is a such thing as women tuition, look, intuition. You can call it whatever you want, higher power, a twitch, a itch, whatever. It exists. Consider it a blessing. And as women, if you stay and you ignore those signs, you decided to stay. That was your decision. Now, of course, from the video, I do not know all that happened. Of course, I don't. But what I did hear was I gave this time. It just, you have to take responsibility for your decisions. When you get a notion that is not working out, make a different decision. And that's in anything. I'm going back to not just relationships, everything, business. What you sit at a job, see that they're letting people go, cutting the hours back, and you just sit there until finally the business closed and then you blame the business? That was your decision not to look for something else. That was your decision not to um, gain other skills or this whatever you could do to get out of that situation. You ignored it. And I'm just tired of people blaming other people for their decision. I have a rule of thumb when it comes to relationships. I call it the decade rule. If it haven't worked out in a decade, it's not going to. I happen to be living proof. I've done that, lived to tell the tale. But when that 10th year came and I realized that I wasn't going to marry that guy, I felt it in my spirit because we were about to move, get our apartment. And he said, well, okay, we can go ahead and get married. I got woozy, almost fainted. Now, let's say I decided to ignore that. I would be sitting up here today complaining. Well, no, not really. That isn't me. But I would have no reason to sit up here today and complain that I'm in a 20-some-year relationship and I knew I wasn't going to marry this dude or I didn't find him to be a good husband. I have to take responsibility for making that decision. Please, people, take responsibility for your decisions. And that's all I have. Greetings, Classic Ruby. How are you?
Oh, well, I am just wonderful today. Boy, sure, you start things up with a bang tonight. I'm like, woo, woo, woo. This story now. This story. Boy, I didn't know about this. I was watching the video while I was listening to your introduction, and I was like, oh my wow, she you have to think about like she's got like she's moving with a spirit inside of her that is not even her. It is like another thing. She's like Hulk. Okay. If like the car had split in half, she would have been able to take half that car and lift it up and throw it. This is you can see it. Like there's not a part of her that's registered what she's done. There's not a part of her, I mean, really registered. There's not a
Yeah,
part of her that cares. Like she doesn't care if she's going to jail for life. She doesn't care if he's dead or alive. She doesn't care.
right.
Like
Hmm.
she's transported past like that and she is consumed by the feelings, which tells you that these are really intense feelings that have been bottled up and built up and
Yep.
built up and built up for so long. And it's see now, okay, I don't know the story at all,
Me
right?
neither, except
Right,
for what I
exactly.
heard.
Right, exactly, exactly. So we all know 18 years. That much of the story we are sure of, and we are sure that for sure he did something wrong, right? Because after 18 years, you don't end up in this situation unless something went wrong. Okay, so this is what, see, now I'm a different kind of person, right? Because I am that person who, first of all, like I'm a serial monogamist, right? I don't really date for short periods of time. I get into relationships, even when I was younger, I would get into relationships and, like when I was 14, my boyfriend, we dated for 8 months. Like that's a long time for 14-year-olds, right? Like I just
That
have
is.
always, it is, right? So
Yeah.
I've always been a committed type. But my boyfriend, when I was 16, we dated for 4 years. Like I do that. And so I invest in people. And when you're young, especially, right? It makes sense to invest in people's potential because that's really all you have. Like y'all don't have anything at no 14, 15, 16, 17, right? Like you're investing their potential, what they say. And you're also trying to figure out, who they are, what they're about, what they mean, what they don't mean. You're trying to figure out your own limits as well and whatnot. So when I see this now, on one side, I agree with you, right? And I'm not nothing I'm saying is trying to say, well, you can blame everyone else for your life choices and decisions. I'm not saying that, but I get it. I literally felt the way she feels. Like I felt that where I didn't run anyone over and then, throw bumpers at them or anything, right? But that point where you lose your sanity almost and you were just screaming and the deception. Because that's what it is. It's you have invested so much time and energy into this person, you believed that, what, yeah, sure, they've made lots of mistakes, obviously it's happened again and again, but they won you over, they told you this time it's going to be different, and then you believed them and this time they showed you, and so you actually thought that they meant it this time, right? And you told all your friends and your family, you think everything's going good, and then somewhere it's like public. It has to be public. So the way I'm thinking about it is she was driving, she thought everything's cool. She's gonna go pick up some food to make for her and her husband because everything's good now. And she sees him walking in the parking lot and kissing up with some girl. That's what I think happened. Something like that. And it's like he boldface lied to you, and he's flaunting and flagrant inside public, like he doesn't care. And so it's that thing, you can't make someone care about your feelings, as tragic as that is. And it's like, what you try to do then is translate that emotional pain into physical pain, right? Well, I can't make you feel what I feel, but I can make you feel something. This is the equivalent of how she feels emotionally, being run over. This is how she feels. She got run over by a car, and then when she's lying there bleeding and in pain and needing help, someone picked up the bumper and smashed it in her face. That's how she feels right now in this moment. And she gave that to him physically because she can't make him feel it, emotionally. But when you invest and commit that kind of time and energy and effort, you swallow your pride. to believe in someone, to be that ride or die for them, to, see above their mistakes and faults. You're doing everything, and they just disrespect you and, devastate you again and again and again. They treat you like a fool. They play you like a fool. And that moment where you look at it and you can see, like, wow, you think I'm a fucking idiot. Oops, sorry, excuse my French, but you think I'm an idiot. You really do. You have zero respect for me. You have zero love for me. Oh my God. It's that moment. That moment of realization and devastation and all of that accumulating. So I get it. I actually get exactly how she feels, because I've been that one. I've felt that feeling. The in my case, I pulled a pummel. You pummel someone with, it's like little kids who beat down on something. I did that. Because I couldn't believe it. Like, I can't believe this is happening in front of my face. You full face lied. Again? Like, it was just like, wow. And I did that. I lost it. It was like seeing red, and then it cleared, and I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. No, no more. I've wasted so much of my life on you. I could have been with someone who was ready to settle down and get married and do this and do that, but instead I was doing this, believing in you. you know for me, it would be worse if I had your kids. It would be worse if, the people that I'd been with when I was 17, 18, we'd stay together because we had a kid. Because I'm the type who would have stayed, right? And I'm the type, oh, well, we're married, we got kids, okay, I'll stay. And then you lied to me, you're making promises to me, and then, you're doing everything in your power to deceive me into believing you. That's the thing that I think would bother me the most, right? Because if you're not making any effort, well, then, it's one thing. But if you are making an effort to deceive me into believing you, and I believe you, I let myself believe you, because if I don't, right, then it's like, oh, well, your history, they use things against you, right? Well, your history and this and that. And so, you're paranoid and you've got these kind of issues and blah, blah, blah. And so you start believing that, and they're working so hard to manipulate you into believing the lie, right? And that is the worst kind of thing. When you fall in that moment and you believe them and you decide, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'll take that leap of faith. You're right. I'll take the leap of faith and I'll trust you. And he's sitting there and making you believe him when he knows he's not worthy of being believed. He's making you trust him when he knows he's not worthy of being trusted, and then you see it. And it's like, wow, wow. So as much as I don't think she can, blame anyone else for making those choices or those decisions, she can't. But at the same time, I don't really feel sorry for him. I don't. And that's just real, because if it's what I'm guessing it is, right? And what I just outlined there, you know, that is a wretched thing for you to do to another human being. It's a wretched thing. There are lots of women out there who would be fine with you having all 3, 4 different families, and a whole bunch of stuff. And you just being open and honest, saying, this is what I want as a man. This is what I need as a man. This is the life I want to live as a man. And you know what? Then you get the woman and the women that you want that are down with that plan. You don't sit there and constantly, deceive and do this to a woman. Like, why? So when you do that to people, people do not like to be deceived this way. People do not like to be manipulated. And people do not like when you play these mind games and, basically screw with them for years, decades, decades of her life gone, because you are incredibly deceptive, and you can't just be honest. Because if you were just honest about what your intentions were from the start, you wouldn't have her. But you refused. You wanted your cake and you wanted to eat it too. I want this woman. I'm not willing to do the things that she needs in a relationship from a person. So I'm just going to lie to her, and I'm going to put all my energy and effort into manipulating her into believing that I'm being that person, while I go out there and not be that person, which is honestly more complicated and more difficult than just keeping it in your pants, than just, being open and honest. So I don't know. I think everyone here loses, obviously. You know, but I don't feel sorry for him. I really don't.
All right. So one day, hopefully, we'll get the story to find out what happened.
Hmm.
He could have stole her money, and this is the outcome. We don't know, but hopefully, we'll find out later. I'll get
Hmm.
someone on it. I'll put them on a case. I'll assign them this case.
Yes, yes. Because you
Yeah.
know what? I added, my own bias based on my own life experiences to say what I feel about the situation and why. It's going to change if things are completely different, right? Like I don't know. Maybe, he done told her, right? She just loved him for 18 years and he just went, yeah, I'll leave my wife. You know I will, girl. Anyway, come over here. And then he was gone again. Maybe it was that. If that's the situation, I'll feel differently about it. Right. So I put a whole bunch of context into there. So let's see what it is. Let's see what it is and then reevaluate. Well, Shari ain't reevaluating nothing. It don't matter what it is. Because we already know.
Yeah. I still hold her responsible. All
Oh
right.
no, she's
So,
responsible. For the record, she's responsible. She should go to, jail or the loony bin or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she's not responsible for her actions. Like, oh well, but her heart is broken, so it's okay she did this. Like, no, that's also not okay. But I do sometimes wish that it was a little more legal to be like. I know it sounds crazy, but like, is there? You can't make lying illegal, right? Like, the world would fall apart. But I feel like there should be a level to which people should not be allowed to deceive another person, and if they do, there should be some type of maybe civil penalty around that or something, because it's like you hear it's not just women, throwing cards and stuff like that, but you hear both men and women who invest years, decades into relationships, and they're not good at reading people like that, and then they're this wife that they love, this husband that they loved, is like this monster that they had no idea, and they're so devastated by it. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there should be kind of more of a penalty there too. If there was, maybe she wouldn't have felt the need to run her car into the guy because he ain't gonna get punished, right? He's just gonna be able to continue living his life, and she's the one who has to feel the fallout. So if she figured, well, I'll rather feel the fallout in jail for the next 20 years. I don't know.
all right. Well, in this video, I received a letter, and I'm just going to play, the part where I just read the letter. But the letter is pretty much the woman is bored. She's, let me just play it. I can
Mm-hmm.
always sum it up if you don't get it. All right. Where are we here? All I got to do is just push play.
You got this.
Okay. Let me find my screen here. There it is. Okay. Greetings, everyone. This is Shar, and welcome to the Just Ask Shar Advice channel. If you have an email for advice, you can send them to justaskchar@gmail.com. Today we have a letter from a young lady, and I'm ready to get right on into it. Dear Shar, I'm trying to find an easy way to break up with my boyfriend of 3 years. I've seemed to grown apart in the relationship and want more out of life while I'm still young. He's 37 years old and I'm 31 years old. We talked about marriage and we had a discussion on paying off the rest of our student debt before we revisit the discussion again. Is there an easy way to end the relationship? Thank you so much for your letter. Yeah, I need a mic. Um, I remember this specifically because the young lady was actually bored. It had nothing to do with anything else. There wasn't nothing wrong with the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
She was just bored. So that's why I titled this "What Happens When the Grass is Actually Brown on the Other Side."
True. She's about
And
to
I'll
find that out.
okay, so I'll drop the link. Anyone can join and talk about it. But what I gave her some advice on, because I told her, I said, I understand you're just bored. You got to find something to do with him, without him. You got to do something because just leaving him, um, that's not a solution. That's not going to
Mhm.
work out for you. And I'm not, I know some people like, well, I don't want to start over. Well, sometimes you got to start over in life. But that's not necessary just because you're bored. What is that all about?
Right.
Things do change. You get busy. Um, you don't take as much time with foreplay and all that. That's just life. It happens.
Mhm.
But what is it that you actually want? You have to, why don't you sit and talk with them? You know, have a conversation. I was thinking, we got this student loan debt we need to pay off and everything. Let's see what we can do differently because I've been trying to do it by myself and you've been trying to do it and that's not working. Hey, let's I tell you what, I'll get a second job or you get a second job or something. Talk with the
Right.
man. So those are just some of the things that I mentioned to her to go
Mhm.
ahead and look into because it's just boredom. I actually, I heard it and saw it in a letter.
Mhm. I don't know. To me, it sounds. See, the thing is, there's two things she could have said, right? Like she could have said, you know, I'm finding our relationships getting a little stale, and I want to spice things up, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what she said, right? Instead,
Hmm.
she said, I am bored with him, and so how do I get out of here, right? Like, so
Yeah, technically.
right, like it didn't sound like, and see, I think that, this is an intuition thing where she realizes she's bored, but it's not necessarily because he's boring. It's not because their life is boring. It's not because their life isn't perfect. It's exactly the way she'd want to live it. She said, I want more out of life, but I don't think she means as far as, experiences on a day to day. I think she literally means the feeling. Like, it was, sometimes women do this, right? Their
Hmm.
friends are all settling down around them and whatever. So they grab the first guy that, isn't the settling down kind, the committing kind. And so, okay, great. I got a boyfriend too. And he's the sticking around kind, and you build up your lives together and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? You never felt that, that, that intensity or chemistry with them, right? They were safe. They were a safe bet. You knew he would stay. You get to have a boyfriend like everyone else and whatever. Um, but I think now, like, everyone else is moving on to those next steps in life, like marriage and whatever. And she's like, I don't want to marry this guy. Oh God, forever, forever, ever, forever, ever, right? Like she's like, no, not with this one. Um, and I think that's what it is. He's never been the one for her, never. She feels bad about that. She doesn't want to crush him, but she doesn't have a good way of, when you break up with someone, it's because things evolved, they got really bad, blah blah blah. So you have something to point at. She has nothing to point at because if she points at what it is and she's honest, she's gonna say, honestly, I probably never should have committed to you. When I say I love you, I kind of always meant more like a brother, like be cool. I'm not in love with you, in love with you. You don't do it for me. You just don't do it for me. And she doesn't want to do that. So she wants to find another way, a nicer way of breaking up with him. And I agree she should, because the brother didn't do anything wrong. You're wrong for having stayed in a relationship for so long and committing to one where you knew he wasn't right for you just because you knew he was a good guy. Um, so I think you should definitely put it on yourself. Let him know that you figured out that at this point in your life, you're not ready for this kind of relationship, taking it, even just keeping it at this level or taking it into the next one. And you think it's unfair, honestly, for you to stay in the relationship with him. So you're breaking up with him. So that way he's free to do whatever it is he needs to do and move. And if you find someone, move forward with someone who's ready, because right now you need to take some time to work on yourself. That's what I think you should do. I think that's the nicer way of addressing all of this without making him feel like he's inferior, because he's not. Y'all just were not a right fit for you, and you just weren't honest with yourself because you were basically using him because, you know, he's a good guy who sticks around. Yeah, so that's what it is.
Well, greeting, DeAndre. How are you? Welcome to the
Greetings,
panel.
everyone. Greetings.
Hey, how you doing, DeAndre?
I'm doing fine. I just finished with my circles.
You know what? Did I not tell you? The first thing I said to you was we have banned circles from the discussion today. Did I not say
Okay.
that?
If you can fight the bear, I can make circles.
Blood. What is wrong with y'all? Right? It's like one by one. First Shadra goes down, then Cerulean, now you. Oh my gosh.
But Cerulean started all of this. But
That's true. He did. Yeah.
you have to like, you know, when people communicate, like if people don't communicate for, I guess, a couple of reasons, especially like, you know, like it's this thing with people, and especially, you know, with the opposite sex, right? Because she's saying that she's bored, but she doesn't want to tell him that she's bored, because I'm thinking, just from a man's perspective, men, we like to fix problems. So then he's going to start running around trying to fix things, right? If I'm not going to be bored, I'm going to be more exciting. And he's going to be exciting in her fears in the wrong way. Because then if she says she's bored in the bedroom or with him or with something else, then he's going to fix it, but she wants it without asking for it. It's
She
like
wanted instant.
Yep.
She wants it instant, but she don't want to ask for it. And then he should be around her long enough to know exactly what she wants. He should be in her head, right here, on the left, right side, frontal lobe, the dubla oblongata in the temple. He should be there, like right here, and it should be this thing. And I'm sorry to say this, but for those of us that are lucky in life to find that person that's that, just by they existing, is it's minute, right? It's not the trend, it's not the majority. So we men, we do have a pride, but we like to take instructions that are clear cut and simplistic, because that's how we operate. If you say, hey, I would like to go out more, okay, our response is, where?
Right.
Where would you
Okay.
like to go? Well, I know you're not going to. It doesn't matter what I like. You're the one with the issue. I don't have an issue. Let me fix your issue, right? You're bored. With whom? With me. Okay, let me see. I don't have a problem with me. I don't have a problem with you. I think you're very exciting. But my level of excitement and your level of excitement does not match. So what can we do so you're happy with me? Because I'm already happy with you, because I don't want to be without you. This is how men compute things in their brains. When we care. When we don't care, we're just like, okay.
Okay.
Or we'll say, you're bored. You're bored. Well, maybe you need to get a hobby. Like we'll say something offhand, like that, right? So maybe she needs to communicate that with him, but you know, being in long-term relationships, when usually a woman finally comes around and says, you know, this is getting kind of boring, that's the end. You're over.
Right.
The car,
Wah.
it's over. It's a wrap. Because
right, like DeAndre, you agree, right? Like if she was bored in the relationship, but she still wanted this guy, she would have said, our relationship's getting boring, our sex life is getting boring. tips to spice it up. How do I get him to blah, 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 right? Like she would have asked about that. She wouldn't have just went right to, oh, our sex life's getting a little boring. How do I leave? I love him so much, but the sex life is boring, so I'm out, right? Like she probably would have said that.
A little bit more specific. Okay.
Yeah.
She said that, but she didn't. And usually what she said, this is how I have to. I'm just being the female to male translator, right? You know, being married for a long time, you start to learn this, right? And when my wife said, "Hey, let's go somewhere," well, where you want to go? Well, let's go. I want to go here, right? That means she's bored and she wants to go somewhere and do something with me. As older as I get, I realize, okay, I don't want to go there, but it doesn't matter what I want to do because she puts up with me. So I got to go and I got to act like I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to whatever. And I'm going to find the best thing possible about the experience that I liked. And we're going to have a ball, but I'm still going to be myself. I'm not going to be fake. See, that's the trick with that. You got to be yourself, right? You got to be the same you that when you went, you got to just, be better. Like a lot of times, when I vlog my experience, this is my wife take us going somewhere. And I'm myself. And I tell her, I'm not eating that. You already know if it's nasty, I'm gonna be mad because I gotta eat it because we paid for
it. Ain't wasting no food, huh?
ain't wasting no money. Money, right?
Mm-hmm.
My first thing is how much it costs and why. You gotta tell me, don't worry about that. Okay. I'm just letting you know what you dealing with when we go somewhere. Everything within the budget. We better not be over budget. We can go from here to the moon, but the price of rocket fuel is high.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of times men, we think what makes boredom in a relationship is women want spontaneity, but they want within reason. Consistent spontaneity, something different, something occasional, something that you just did without being prompted to do so.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's where the boredom comes into play.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I agree. We
Yeah,
want some excitement and all of that.
Yeah, she gone.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate, but she gonna figure it out.
That is so unfortunate.
You know what though?
Consistency.
Listen, y'all. Listen. I have admitted my ain't shit status in my early teen years many a time, so this should not be surprising to people. But story time by Ruby. So I used to, and no, I did. I do have it in my history, in my past history. That's why I could speak so confidently on it. Times where I've dated people because I liked how much they liked me, right? I mean, in general, I've always kind of been like that, right? Like I could be super into you, but if you're not into me back and I can't like be like, oh my God, he's so into me, I will lose interest in you quickly, right? Masking, how much you really want me or something is not going to be a good ploy with like a Leo in general, but definitely not with me. So, but I would really like, as long as you were really into me, you shower me with affection and attention. And, when we were younger, like even like stupid little presents, I don't care. You could have stolen them from your mama's room. Like I remember once for Valentine's Day in the 7th grade, my boyfriend got me like this weird candle. It was like a set of candle holders, basically like that you would get for like a wedding because it has like 2 holders, like one on either side with like angels on it. It was really weird. Yeah, it was like not something you give another 7th grader for love, but I didn't care. It was a present, right? And a boyfriend bought me a present, so I was all about that. But he's another one, someone I dated because I get to have a boyfriend, I get the status of a boyfriend, and this dude's totally into me, so great, right? So So anyway, the thing is that I did that more than once, and I really did. And the thing is, what would happen is this: eventually, it gets boring. Um, just having him, lavish all over you and blah blah blah, because you don't personally have feelings of love and chemistry that way for him to sustain you. So that in love feeling after 8 months or a year, when that starts subsiding into that kind of lasting love for people and things change, you stop acting a certain way. Well, now I'm bored with you. Why? Because I was never into you as a person. I was into how much you were into me, right? So now, meanwhile, you think you're falling into some deep love relationship with someone, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, you're not puppy dog in love with me anymore. All right, where's the next one? Where's the next flavor?" Right? And so I was like that, and then I was horrible with it though too, because I would tell you about it. Like I would tell you, and admit it.
Dang.
I would. Yeah, no, because I would tell people throughout the relationship, this is how I felt, but they thought I was kidding because I said it with like a little smirk and a grin and whatever, but that's just the way I spoke. And like when I'm caught in something, I smile. So people would think I'm joking. And then they would realize like when no, I'm really breaking up with you. And they're like, oh my God, this was never a joke. Like, no, it wasn't. I was never that into you. And so, you have to realize that some women, they haven't emotionally matured past the age of 13, 15. Or they won't let their walls down to allow real connections to form. And so the people that they find are the ones that, again, they lavish the attention and lavish the this and that. And, you're so easy. You give me everything. You're sweet to me. You're nice to me. You don't really expect too much from me, whatever. It's easy. But that's not lasting. That's not the kind of thing you want to spend the rest of your life doing. That's the kind of thing you do when you need it to be safe. Her getting bored might be either because, again, his little, oh my God, I'm so in love with you thing has worn down to like real love. Or, yeah, or it might be because she actually is ready to settle down. And if she's actually ready to settle down, strangely enough, it wouldn't be with this guy. It wouldn't be with this guy at all. She couldn't, because the relationship they've established is something different.
Yeah. And,
Mhm.
and
I do find when we're younger, we normally do that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep.
If she's older, I'll say it. There's a side dude.
Ooh.
There's a side dude. See, when from my experiences of observing women once they get to a certain age, there's that time where you want kids, you want a family, and if a lot of women are lucky enough to miss those landmines of what they want, and they actually get what they need without actually procreating, having children before they're ready to, and stuff like that, and all that in society and so forth. They get to that point where they actually find that guy that they settle on, that security but not excitement, right? And everything was cool, but it was building up. And when she's reaching out for help because she doesn't want to make this mistake of jumping for what she wants, because she knows the guy she's with, boring is what you need. Like, old people don't have excitement. Their excitement is watching whatever show and, growing old together. Growing old together is not exciting. It's not exciting. It's just like me and my wife used to run everywhere when we was younger and dating. Now we're just good sitting in the room with each other because we're so busy and just enjoying each other's presence and talking over dinner and getting a coffee and taking a walk with the dog and just having conversation about stuff. Right? It's not exciting, but it's exciting for us because we grew to that point. But we went through all the exciting of running and ripping and over here and partying and doing that together. Like, so we've got to that point where we're past the excitement part. We got grandkids. We'll take it. we'll take vacations together. That's exciting. What I'm saying? And we'll take a staycation after the vacation because we need to recover from the vacation. But what she probably has is a side dude, right? And the side dude doesn't mean in the physical form with women. It means in the emotional and the mental form, right? She has a guy that's exciting, and he makes her laugh and he does little stuff and he's not with anybody, right? And he's been around for a while, you know, maybe a work buddy or somebody. She goes to the gym or whatever external hobbies that she has access to this other guy, and the man that she's with is, yes, if she's bored, if that is her biggest complaint, right? There's many other complaints she can have, like the lady that ran over the dude with the car.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't bored. She had so much excitement.
She wasn't bored.
Right?
Dang.
Can't get no more exciting than that, right? So bored is, everything's scheduled. There's no different. There's like fish stick night is on Tuesday, on Monday, Taco Tuesdays, you eat good dinner on Sunday, you pay your bills on time, the lights, the water, and the gas, we go for our occasional. He hits the birthdays, the anniversaries and the Valentine's days and the Christmas on point. He knows her inside and out, but he doesn't do anything outside of that lane.
But you know what though, DeAndre? I feel like the side dude is an answer to the boredom problem. Whether it's boredom within the relationship, but you're in love with this guy still, or you're just bored with this dude, but he's safe and solid and takes care of all your bills, so you might as well stick around, or he's father your child. So I feel like if she had the side dude, she wouldn't be writing this letter and she wouldn't be looking for the way out, because she already has a solution to the boredom, which is the side dude.
Well, see, the problem is that the side dude is the ultimate solution, right? Is okay. So the way it works is, right, for men, this is just from my standpoint, right? A man will be in a affair with another woman for long periods of time. He's not leaving his wife if he can help it, right? He'll smash this other chick because she's the break of the boredom, right? And that's where Ruby thinks like a man, like that Steve Harvey stuff, right? She's over here with the guy. Right? But with women, when they emotionally ready to, they'll emotionally detach, but if that emotion is attached somewhere else, their body has to follow along with it. They got to go, right? And what she doesn't understand is, and this is why she's asking for help, is because she knows she's dealing with a professional side dude. And this is the side dude code and oath. If y'all break up, we break up. My job is to keep you with him over there. I only want the good parts of you. And that is the emotional and the physical part of you, even if it's just emotionally. I get that from you here. I get the physical from this person over there. I am not attached to anybody. I can float and I can mingle and go on. I have no responsibilities. I don't have to deal with your bills. I don't have to deal with your hair in the sink. I don't have to deal with it's that time of the month and live with you too. I don't have to deal with none of the nagging. I don't have to deal with none of the other stuff. It's good for me to hear you talk shit about him, but not about me. See, that's the role of the side dude. And the problem is that she's enamored with the side dude because it is a shot. Like if she could literally do a blood transfusion of some of what the side dude does to her dude, she wouldn't leave. She wouldn't.
You know what though?
Wow.
I hear you, but this is the way I think about it. I really do. I think that if you have that, right, again, you still wouldn't be asking for help on how to leave because you already know how to leave. And I know it sounds crazy, but when you have as women, right, we need to feel justified in leaving. And even finding love or excitement or whatever elsewhere, so you know how it's supposed to feel and how a guy's supposed to treat you and blah blah blah, that's still a justification, which means you know what to say. You already know how to extricate yourself, right? Because you know how to tell him all the things he's doing wrong and that the relationship wasn't and blah blah blah, and so you're leaving to go have that, right? So I still think, right, and I mean, again, the side dude thing is, like I said, it's a solution to this problem. But I don't think either she's not the type, because there are women who are not the type to get a side dude, okay, y'all? But either she's not the type, or she hasn't thought that would be a solution to this particular relationship. But I don't think she has a side dude. I really don't. I think that right now this is her only dealing, and that's why it is that she's asking for help out, because she doesn't have she doesn't know what to say or do because she doesn't have like a real thing. There's nothing she can say. I got someone else on the side. There's a career in Beijing I want to follow. She doesn't have anything to say. This is just like, you just never really did it for me. And I'm done with it now. So I want to go even find myself a professional side due to, hook up with on weekends, or I don't know, but this isn't working for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just
from what I've witnessed is when people leave relationships is because it's two things, right? Majority of it is they have somewhere to go because nobody wants to leave to nothing. Mostly. Nobody just want to, like, it's like moving out of a house, right? You hate your apartment, can't stand it. Your neighbors suck, it's horrible, right? You're not just going to move out into the street. You got to find another apartment to move to, right? It's and there's something about this other apartment that's better, right? It's maybe on the first floor, maybe it's a park around the corner, maybe it's quieter, maybe it's a duplex, maybe it's a house. With the thing about, like, men will do dumb stuff, right? We'll jump out the window without a parachute a lot of times. But majority of women, if they're going to leave, and if the only reason she's leaving is because of boredom, then that means if she's asking Char, right, for this advice, or she's putting it out there, an outside source out of her circle, she's already ran it through her girlfriends, and they looked at her like she was crazy. What? And you know what the probably question was? You bored? You bored? Girl, I wish I was bored. I almost had to run them over with a car, like, oh girl, I wish I was bored. Like, and that's what she's getting, but she wants to leave. And this is just me. As human beings, we're grown-ups and we're adults. No matter what it is, it's advice. And it's better that she just leaves and just stays around from the pressure of being there, because she's going to check out or do something even worse, or cause another problem. And she just go. It's just if she finds him boring, or maybe they just need to have a break, some time apart, and maybe she needs to see that if she jumps on the other side of the fence, she lands in a big puddle of poop or something. Maybe, what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to break from people, maybe, like they say that absence makes the heart fonder or something like that, right? And maybe that's what it is. I think maybe she's bored because he's too consistent in what he does. Like, that's what I think. That's just me as a guy. This is just a guy looking, because I've heard that once.
Oh, okay. That is interesting, that now that you mentioned with the consistency. I don't know, but there are some of us that think that way as women, when everything is just going well and all of that.
Too good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are something else at times. I do agree.
Well, and that has a lot to do though with your upbringing, right? So if you were born and raised in a lot of chaos and turmoil, love was about yelling and screaming and fighting and cheating and breakups and makeups and da 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 da, right? And then you go find someone who's normal, and so none of that happens. And even when you try to bait them, it just doesn't work, because they deal with stuff like the way healthy, normal individuals deal with them. It feels like, basically it gives you like an absence or a void in your soul, that you need to, fill. And it feels like something's wrong with the relationship, because if he loved you, he'd yell at you. If he loved you, he'd hit you. If he loved you, he would do these things that, you were conditioned to think are normal. So that way you could survive them as a child growing up. So, I mean, that definitely is, a possibility as well, is that, is there just an issue where she really needs some therapy to work through why she thinks healthy and balanced and happy is boring? And, what is she comparing that to? And what does she need to kind of heal to, get to the place where, hey, normal life is exciting. Like DeAndre said, right? Yay, have grandkids now. And yay, vacation and staycation. Yay, Netflix and chill night,
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm not 50 yet. And they do not stay over my house. If you bring them, they go home with you. If they stay, you got to stay the night with them.
Fair,
Don't leave
fair.
them, and then you leave and you come back in an 8 hour period when the sun go down and come back up. Nobody.
They're visitors. Go home.
They're visitors. Yes, we won't leave the light on for you. This is not Motel 6. Holla.
Right.
Mhm.
Welcome to the panel, Vonda. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, hey, girl.
Thank you. Hey, Ruby. Hey, DeAndre. Thank you, Shar, for having me on. I just wanted to say that I do agree with Dre in that he said that if the worst thing that she has to say about her man is that he's boring, she has somebody else. Now, listen. Now, when I say that, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's in a full out affair and sleeping with this man. She has found interest, her heart or her loins, tingle for another man. She has found someone that she's zeroed in on and she finds him exciting. And she has thought about this man. He may be a friend, could be a coworker, whatever, but it's somebody that she's like, damn, I really like him. I am attracted to him. And what she's doing is she's comparing him to her man. And she's like, and what she has at home, she didn't talk about any other issues with regards to abuse or he's cheating on her. But what she has at home, I'm just gonna, just fill in the blanks, just based on what was said. There's some stability, the man probably works, he's probably doing his thing, just a regular ho-hum everyday life. And they have fallen into a routine where there ain't much going on. When we first start out in our relationships, we have the butterflies. The only person we want to be with is each other. It's like a rarity to be with your friends because you want to be with your man or your man wants to be up under you. You guys just want to be around each other. So they probably have gotten to this whole, routine of, okay, work, kids, sleep, turn around, do the same thing tomorrow. Turn around, do the same thing tomorrow. So let's say, for instance, she's working and there's this guy at work. And wow, he is so nice. I love his personality. We just talk about everything. And so now she's like zeroed in on, he may be an attractive man. She is zeroed in on this attractive man and she likes him. And that's just what it is. That is very possible that could be the thing. And that's where she comes out with, I'm bored. Now, she would sound like a damn fool telling her girls, girl, I'm bored with him. I want something new. They would look at her like, girl, you got yourself a good man. Now, she's not going to tell Shar how good her man is because Shar just going to tell her the same thing. Girl, you got yourself a good man. Are you silly? Are you crazy? You're going to come at her from a different aspect because of based on what she's told you. Now, her friends know the deal. They know what's going on because if he wasn't no good, they would already know about and they would have been told her to leave him and she wouldn't be writing you.
Well,
you know what? I got to say, okay, so I got a story. It's not my story. It's just a story I saw. And because I'm running through my head, I have so many stories that are like similar to this I could tell. But, there's always another factor. And, again, Vonda, you picked up on that point. If there's some other reason, he's no good, he's a liar, he's a cheater, he's this, you can fall back on that. And then you don't have to write into anyone to ask. Because you can just be like, you know what, I can't get over on you cheating on me last summer. Right? Even though everything's been fine since then, it doesn't matter, right? Like you can fall back on things. So if you have no reason, then, it's not something like that. So I was thinking though, so I knew these two people, let's call them Ben and Terry. Okay. Yeah, I know it was like Ben and Jerry, but yeah, anyway. So, now Ben, he's a good guy who's a I mean, honestly, he was kind of like a boring guy, if I'm being real. Like, you know, we all go to the bar and stuff. He's the quiet one. He's pleasant, perfectly pleasant. He's perfectly fine in every way. You know, his clothes are fine, his hair's fine, his looks are fine. You know, his attitude's fine. His personality's fine. There's nothing like he really was. He really was just kind of boring if you think about it, right? But he was cool. He's a nice guy. And so he was engaged to, well, eventually, in the time that we knew them, they were together for like 4 years or something, right? And he ends up getting engaged to his girlfriend, Terry. And Terry's fun. She's hilarious. I mean, she's a riot. You know what I mean? She's the one who's cracking jokes. She sparkles when she comes in. You know what I mean? She's the one who wants to pick a random song on the jukebox and dance in a bar where no one dances. Like, you know, she's a free spirit. She's fun. You know, and he's fine. He's fine with her being her. He doesn't want to take anything away from her. Doesn't want to restrict her in any way. Whatever she wants to do in life, he's very happy to support that and you know, whatever. And so, you know, planning the wedding, you know, the invitations have gone out, whatever. And then one day Ben comes to work and he's just, I mean, no one's ever seen him look other like, you know, he's sad, dejected. He's just kind of stony. What's wrong? Terry left. She literally just, she packed up her stuff and she left. And he came over and she was gone. What happened? She was bored. That's what it was. She was like, I knew that I would reject you on the altar or I would leave sometime early in the marriage. You know what I mean? This is a really big decision and whatever. And I realized that, you know, I don't feel enough for you, right? It's not that I don't love you. I just don't feel enough. I don't feel enough of any of the feelings I feel for you. You know, you're fine. But, you know, basically it came down to she was bored. Now, she didn't say the words bored to him. I bumped into her about a year and a half later. You know, she had dyed her hair a completely different color. You know, she looked a little different, but it was still her. And I was like, yo, what's up? We were excited. We decided to catch up. And, you know, she didn't do anything overly crazy. You know, she just realized, and she didn't have a like a boyfriend or anything, for the record. She didn't leave for like another guy or anything like that. It was just him. It was the idea of having her life roped to his forever. And it's like, she knew there was nothing wrong with what they were doing, but it wasn't fun for her to be with him. The way he experienced life, the way he did things, it was just like, oh, yeah. Like, you know, at first these were things she thought, you know, she dismissed them because he's such a sweet guy. He's such a good guy. He's a good guy. And that's what she was looking for. So she dismissed all these things that didn't appeal to her much. But then, you know, when she really sat down and thought, she's like, I can't do this forever. There's no way. This is crazy. My mind will melt. I will literally die of boredom. So I guess, you know, and that's kind of where my mind is going to. When you're just bored, but there's nothing wrong at all. You know, if you're self-aware at all and you're bored and this person's perfectly normal, then they're not the right one for you. Because, you know, if you have that love in your heart, and like you said, it's the tingle and whatever, and I can see what you were saying, Vonda, because that feeling for someone else out there in the world can remind you that you've never felt for this person the way you should have. And maybe, because I've actually been there too, where I honestly thought, oh, I'll never feel that kind of love again. That was puppy love or something. Until I felt it again. And now the man I'm with, I'm like, oops. I thought that this settled okay love was enough, but it wasn't enough, right? I didn't realize that, no, you keep feeling that big, huge, you know, overwhelming love again and again and again. I didn't understand that at the time. You know, and it's like, oh, that's why you're boring. That's why I hate all these things with you that I, you know, used to love doing with someone else. It's because I don't feel enough for you. So, you know, I don't want to pigeonhole our writer inner, you know, with the side dude thing, because, you know, there are other reasons. That's all I'm saying.
Well, like I said, the side dude doesn't even have to be a dude that she's sleeping with or even has a relationship with, but she emotionally started to feel for this dude based on a work friendship, which, like you said, made her look at her man and be like, dang, you know, not that I don't feel that way, you know, for him, or I've never felt that way. I just don't feel that way anymore. It's like, where did it go?
Yeah.
You know?
No,
right.
The side dude is not the cause, it's the effect.
Yeah.
The cause is always the person, right? So if you look at the, you know what I mean, if you know what I'm saying,
Right. Yeah.
so the cause was she was bored, right? And what she needs is a damn hobby, right? And this is what I mean, right? When they say like an idle mind is the devil's playground, it is.
It's
Yeah.
true.
It really is. And she wouldn't be bored if she had something else to strive for. But here's the thing that I realized about being in a relationship with a person, and this was previous to the fact, because I'm a card carrying member, retired, ex-president of the Side Dude Incorporation, right? I was all about that Side Dude life, right? So, but before I was like Ruby. Hey, I'm in here for the long haul. All that running around and running with this chick and that chick. And I'm seeing my homeboys go through that stress and, getting their cars keyed up and getting embarrassed in public and saying how small a yank is, but you heard them pounding her out upstairs in your room, in your extra bedroom, because she was hiding from her dude, and people fighting and they in entanglements and you got to be rich to be entangled. It's a knot, right? You just knots, right? You can't be entangled if you pull. You just knots, right? But but when I saw that, and when girlfriend said you're just not exciting, you're bored, right? She told me, she said, "We just is not. You just it's just like I wanted you because of you, like what you did, but when you with me, you're a whole different person." It's like I said, what? I'm not dysfunctional. Like, yeah, I saw it. Like, you go out here with the guys and you do all, but when you with me, I say, yeah, because I'm with you, because it's peaceful. I don't want to do all that. Like, I want to do all this extra. Like, I don't do that because I want to. I do that because I have to. Like, but what was told by me by someone that was older than me, or what I always say, somebody that was smarter than me but dumber than God is, and that's where wisdom come into play. And they told me is, if what drives women isn't putting them in danger, it's the ambition of a man of constantly striving to do great things. That's what have women encapsulated with you. And if they can be a part of that, then she's going to ride with you. She's always going to fall in love with you all over again, because you're not afraid. If you make things too comfortable and too safe, as a man, you're not opposing the environment. Like if he's got his job, but he's not striving for that next position, if he's not trying to do the best he can to get that raise or that promotion, right? Or if he isn't in the garage and he's not making something. If he comes home, he said, "Babe, what you need?" He does the whole thing. He listens to a problem, right? Repeat back to her what he said, and he goes and sits in front of the couch or the computer or whatever he does and drinks his thing and eats his dinner and go to sleep at 9 p.m., wakes up at 5, shaves it at 5:36, has his eggs exactly the same every day. He doesn't like omelets. He wears the same types of stuff. He doesn't want to do anything spontaneous with himself. Sometimes it comes down to self as a man. And if you're not going to be spontaneous with yourself, then how are you going to be spontaneous with me as a woman watching you, right? And that's just that thing, because if life is about excitement, but it's about the trials and the tribulations, because women feel it too. If it's too peaceful, what happened when something go wrong? Like, are we prepared? Like, you're just and she might not see every day what he's doing. Maybe he's trying to shield her from it. Maybe it is what it is, but people do get bored with folk. The worst people that do this is men. When men get bored, they don't tell you.
Yeah, it's all bad. And see, that's what I was thinking. Just like you were saying, he has to have some excitement about him. women, we get our hair done, we get our nails done, we do our lotions and potions, and we buy lipstick, you know, because we enjoy those things. But men enjoy us doing those. You know, men like to see the finished product. And if you did not do things to, you know, keep yourself, you know, refreshed, you know, another, you know, glittery, dangly thing is going to catch your man's eye. That's going to happen anyway. So women, on the other hand, have to do the same thing. Because like you said, Dre, when he done checked out, he ain't told you nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what though, if I could add, because I think the thing is, right, so for a lot of women like myself, for example, like I actually really prefer something consistent. I'm not really big into surprises or unpredictability, and by really big I mean mostly I don't like it at all. So I'm really good with consistency. I think though, you know, we're now traveling into the realm more of kind of like not self-respect, but like you know, self-care, where you still care enough about yourself to put yourself together, you know, as a woman, to shave your legs and to, you know, put on something cute and make sure your hair is did, your eyebrows did, and, you know, makeup if you wear it or whatever. And for men, you know, making sure you're shaved and you're lined up and, you know, your hair is, you know, perfect, or, you know, bald head, whatever it is, right? And you're wearing clothes that suit you and you smell good, you know, all of those things. It's just that thing where you put in that extra effort into yourself so you're at your best. Right now, obviously in relationships, you know, you got the, you know, 15, 20 pounds you gain, you know, age comes in and now, you know, you change all over the place, but, you know, you can still put in that personal effort to show that not only do you care about yourself, but you care how your partner sees you, and smells you and interacts with you, touches you. And so I think that is often like a big thing. And when someone drops, they get comfortable in a relationship and they drop like that part of it, you know, and hygiene too. That can be a really big turnoff, I think, for most people, right? Because it's like, yeah, I understand that you got my 4 kids, and I understand that you're working triple time to, you know, try to pay for us and whatever, but like, don't you still care that I look at you and I'm attracted to you? Don't you still care that, you know, I want to sit within 5 feet of you because you don't smell disgusting? Like, don't you still care that I look over and I see something attractive? So it's like, you know, you kind of almost feel like even though there's so much else going on, you still kind of want to feel like they put that extra effort in for themselves, but also for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's very, very true. Damn it, I just lost my train of thought. Don is messing with me in the
It's
chat.
Don Teasy's fault. I know, right?
Yeah, I know. I just lost my train of thought.
It always is.
No, it's absolutely it's absolutely true. Like you know, my wife, she has this thing. Like, she don't care if she going to like the store 2 minutes around the corner. She gon' be dressing her best, right? I'll put on some sweatpants, you know what I mean, and a t-shirt on and some flip-flops with some socks on it, and you know, and I'm walking around the corner. I'm just going around the corner to get something. I don't care. She's like, "What you doing? Like, why you know, like if I'm just going by myself, if we go like, hey, you going to store? You go, no, you gonna put something on. You're walking out here just looking like that with me, like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, because as a dude, we just like, you know, what are you talking about? But then I'd stop and then I'd say, okay, I get what you're saying. Because I want you walking around the corner with hair rollers in your head, like coming up to the school, like, who mama is that? So it's a give and go thing.
Whose mom is that?
Who mama is that? Coming up here with a belt.
No, I don't know who. I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
My mom would never. That's just crazy.
You just look around in the class. Who quiet? Oh, that's your mama. Like, so you just it's just one of them things where, you know, the boredom comes from a lot of things. It could be how he's treating her, and it may not be that, right? Or like what Ruby said, he was, you know, you gotta, you know, and this is why I say the thing. So I'm gonna give you an insight into the professional side, dude, right? Because Ruby doesn't have too much experience with the professional side, dude. Professional, she never dealt with one. She never incorporated one. She never contracted one, right?
Well, I have a question. Are you a card carrying member?
Oh, not anymore. I've retired.
Yeah, because Dre, you got some inside information that
Yeah. This is the professional side dude. When I met my wife, I was the professional side dude.
that's
Like,
insider's information. I was like,
but it's
wow,
okay.
he's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You know,
Time to learn.
out there, you know, they putting out all other stuff on YouTube that don't make sense. So I'm going to give you receipts. The first thing is that when you get into this, it's this thing with the mindset of you have to set the boundaries, right? So when we hear this thing about they won't be submissive. Well, no, women are submissive to what they want and what they need. They're not submissive to whining and complaining, right? So a lot of the times, 50-50 of the clients of the professional side dude, right, is you get the women that are bored and you get the women that really have a lot of guys that are coming after them, but they want to kind of chase in some way. They're being chased so much, right? And they know what the guy wants. Either the guy is too forthcoming with materialistic things and overshowering with compliments that they hear on a daily basis. They want to be treated differently, and that's exciting. It's just a break from the norm, right? So depending on who the woman is, you have to do certain things. Your attitude, everything has to shift, right? So here's the thing, right? With the it does easy. No, man, it was when me and my wife met, I was still the professional side, and then we got together, and then I gave up my card.
You retired.
Yeah, I retired. She pulled me into retirement, and actually I was done. It got tiresome, So what basically happens is the women that are bored, they actually want you to be spontaneous. They want a little bit of danger, but they also want safety in that danger, right? So what I did, what I would do, and this is just me, and it doesn't work for everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different personality. When you talk about the professional side dude, has to be forthcoming with truth. You can't be lying. See, a lot of these guys, that means you're just a player. The professional side dude tells you what it is. I have multiple people that I talk to. I have multiple women. Right? That's the first excitement. If you can get into the inner circle, if the woman can get into the inner circle and the attention from the so-called professional side dude, this is not his girlfriend. This is not his girlfriend. None of these women are his girlfriend. You don't know their relationships with these women, but he treats them the same, but he doesn't. So if she's like what they would call like she's a bad bee, like she's got her like she's the alpha female, right? He's got to be able not to just be up underneath her, but to actually subdue her with his personality. Like, no, we're not doing that. No, you're going to do it on my time. No, you was late by these many minutes. So we're not going to meet. I'm sorry, you can go home now. Have a nice night. Because she's used to controlling the narrative, so she wants to be in a so-called submissive state, right? If she's bored, then she wants him to take control, but take her to show her different things. If she's used to eating at Friday, he takes her to a French restaurant and teaches her something new, right? He starts to show her different things like, hey, have you ever read this book on this? That's where a lot of dudes in the conscious community with their conscious mind stuff come into play. You know what I'm saying? With the whole conscious stuff.
Yes.
And
Read.
Read and then you start pulling these charts and celestial bodies down from the sky and start spewing that stuff. And why do women latch onto it? Because it's something different, right? Why do these men have all these women in the circle, and then you hear the conversation and they're talking about politics or something like that, because most men don't feel as if that women should be in those conversations. That's a conversation for men, and then women talk about hair, nails, and gossip and whatever and so forth, right? And that's not the case. So the professional side dude has to wear many hats. He has to be the antithesis of what the norm is for them, right? Just like I showed on my stream about the women paying the guy money to call him princess and to treat him all night and stuff like that, right? Call him princess, you know, and all that other stuff. It's a thing. And you get fringe benefits, right? You get to call her Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm off on Thursday. Or, you know, you get to go places. You get to just hear her inner thoughts, but she gets in exchange, whether it's physical or emotional, and it's called the masculine energy. Something different. And maybe what she'll take from that situation is how to fix her relationship herself. Maybe she can kind of give hints to her man about X, Y, and Z. But when she decides to jump out the window, that's when she's going to fall flat on her face.
Business.
The side dude ain't supposed to be the guy you fall on. Mm-hmm. Either you stay with the guy you get, or you go find the guy that fits that narrative of what he is, of stability, and the excitement of what you got from the side dude. That's how the side dude works. It's this. It's like a field psychiatrist, right? It's like for science, basically. It's like the psychiatrist is theory. The side dude is actually what you do to get to the point of what it. That's how it works for women. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally attached, but not.
Well,
all right.
All right, let's break it down.
Okay.
But you know what though? Okay, and so I think this is the thing, right? This is one of those, and we don't always get topics like this. So I'm really excited about this one. But I think this is one of those ones where we should really address this as, okay, this woman could be one of like 5 different people, basically, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we're all original. I get it, blah, blah, but we're not really. So like she could be one of like a few kinds of situations or scenarios, right? And so each one could be addressed differently. But let's say with this one, right? So let's say, you know, whether it's the emotional, psychological side dude or the real one and whatnot, right? How does she break up with this man? Because that's ultimately what she wrote in about, right? So given that that is all true, what is the best way of her extricating herself from the relationship? I mean, I think I kind of heard you say at the beginning, basically, she shouldn't extricate herself from this relationship because she's about to be very single, because she's leaving to go be with the side dude who wants no part of an actual relationship with her. And the only reason why it's this good is because, you know, they only get the best of each other every once in a blue moon and the excitement and whatever. But if she still wants to do it anyway, what's the best way of her, I guess, leaving her current relationship then?
Well, I would say have a conversation, because communication is important. That's the main thing. And then I think they live together, so they have to have a conversation and figure out their bills and all that kind of stuff.
They live
Yeah,
together?
I think they do. I think they do. One thing I know, they were working on their student debt before marriage. That much I do. So
yeah, they living together.
Well, she sounds young too if they're working on student debt and they're trying to get that paid down.
Yeah, she got to be between 25 and about, I would say at the latest, I would say 25 to about 28. You know,
yeah, I would agree with that.
Right.
Ooh, that's nasty.
She does need to be honest with him, because you know what? Just because they are living together and they're working down their student debt before they get married does not mean that they are the right people for each other.
No,
so if she's already feeling this and they haven't even gotten married and they're already living together, what is it going to be in 10 years? She's going to be, you know, her child's going to be looking like, you know, her coworker.
Mm-hmm.
No,
you know,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. You know, it's a lot easier when you live in separate places. Like if she had her place and he had his place, that's easy to break up.
Yeah.
Come get your stuff in this box.
True.
And depending on where you live at, because I used to watch what was that? Divorce court. They used to have couples there that was living together, or no, it was like marriage court, something like that. With the lady, the smaller black lady, she used to have the prince look like an auntie haircut. But the and I know in California, like if you live with someone and they move out and they make a little bit less than you, you got to pay them like support for a couple of months when they leave.
Yeah, California is something else.
Because you're living together.
But,
Yes.
But at the end of the day, whether they're living together now or they're living together after they're married, it's not going to be easy. It's best to tear it off where she's at right now before they go any deeper. Because if she's already feeling this much boredom and their life together hasn't even really started popping off, come on now. That is just, that's an absolute no. You'll get over the breakup. People move out all the time, but if you trying to move out kids and get child support, 10 years down the line, that's even worse. Do it now. Right. You guys will respect each other and end up friends later. Before you go off and do something destructive because you're bored. And then you're going to start getting angry and resentful that you're bored with him, like it's his fault. And he's probably great. Right. It's not his fault that he's who he is.
I'm you know what? Well, I'll say this is she did say basically, so the way that it sounded in the letter to me was that, okay, so they had made a plan that together they're going to pay off their student, work off their debt before getting married. So when the topic of marriage came up recently, and she's sitting there thinking, how are we going to break up? And he goes, okay, babe, so what about getting married? She was like, well, I thought we were going to pay off our student loans first, right, babe? Yay. And that's going to buy her some time to get herself out of this relationship before, the last bill is paid. And then, and now it's like, okay, so we're going to get married now. Yeah, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. If you're bored and you in debt, then you ain't the one that's working hard. I'm being honest with you. Listen, being poor, you ain't bored, right? You got a lot of stuff to keep you occupied. Like the lights need to stay on, the bill man call. They keep you really excited when they call and you got to make up these lies and put the kids on the phone or something like that. Or you got to look at Star 69.
But Dre, things could be very easy for her because she has another half. Maybe they are splitting things down the middle. Wherever they live is easier with two than it is with one. But sometimes there are some places that are so expensive when that other one leaves, you're struggling like a mug. But right now, while she got him, she's like, oh, this is great. I'm bored because, stuff's not getting cut off. She's not saying, well, the electricity was cut off and my cell phone got cut off and I'm just bored with him. No, you're right. Bills are getting paid and things are getting done. And now,
you know what?
She's hot in the pants right now. That is what it is.
Listen. The reason why I disagree is because I'm this one. Remember, right? So I'm speaking for personal experience as being this ain't shit person who will sit in a relationship with someone that I'm just not feeling. But it's better than being single. So I'm just saying, I've legit done it more than once. And I will say this, is that I might not be bored, right? It's not about me being bored. It's not about my life being boring. It's not about my life needing more excitement. Everything might be horrendous all day, every day. But I still got time to know that this man bores me. And just having to spend time with this man is like, why do I have to watch paint dry again? Right? Because whenever you do feel time together, God, all you want to do is sit in your living room and just watch TV by yourself. But no, this man's going to come and sit next to you. And now you're like, fine. Right? And he doesn't do anything bad. It's just like he doesn't do anything good. He doesn't add anything good. Like, why are you even here? You might as well be a roommate or something. Right? And everything could be terrible. But then this is supposed to be my oasis time where I get to decompress from my terrible day. And no, I have to share with you and your boring ass. Why can't you just, I don't know, say something funny?
Ruby. That is sad. I think that is sad. That is not his fault. That's like getting a puppy and being mad that you have to feed the puppy. And the puppy wants to rub its neck. And you're like, oh, puppy, go lay down in the corner. I fed you today. Be happy you ate. Now you rub your belly? Are you kidding? That's terrible. You better give that puppy to a good home. Give that man to a good woman. You don't want him no more. Girl, because you will start to resent him and be mean to him, and that's not right. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my responses today are coming from that perspective. Okay, I have no man on side or whatever, but I'm just like in my head, my internal was so loud, right? But I'm trying to keep my face placid and normal, and like I'm tensing, and I'm praying to God a meteor will strike us, or you'll get up and go to the bathroom and never come back, or something, right? Just go away, so at least I can be by myself, because that's more entertaining. Like, I swear, I've been there, right? So I know what it is, and I'm saying it's terrible. It is horrible. It is horrible for you to do this to someone. No, it is. It's horrible for you to do this to someone because you know you shouldn't keep that man around, because not only are you going to ruin him when this all falls apart finally,
he's going to go to YouTube and just holler about black women.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he will.
Listen,
I know. I'm sorry. I ruined like 2 or 3 really sweet guys in my lifetime. I apologize. I know I did it. I literally went back and when I was in my 20s, and I apologized to them because I realized how terrible it was. And I mean, some of them I ruined like when we were like 14. Right? One of them I ruined when we were 14. He's still ruined to this day, right?
Oh, like, my goodness.
Yeah, the other one really was 7th grade to 10th grade inclusively. I ruined him. He's still ruined to this day. Right?
Clutching my pearls, young lady. Oh my God.
I was the worst. I didn't even think people were people. I just thought like I was like on a TV show like The Truman Show, right? Like that. No one else was really people. They were just here for my entertainment and lessons to learn.
Let me say this, right? I'm gonna just say this, right? Okay. I'm gonna say this real quick, right? So I'm glad that you said that. You know, you were a teenager, you were a young child, right? But if this happened in a man's teenage years, his young adult hitting puberty, and if he's still ruined to this day, it is not your fault. Okay? All right? It is.
I feel like it is.
No. It's not your fault. You know why it's not your fault? It is a man's job to get rejected, and you're not a man until a woman that's not your mother takes her hand, reaches in your chest cavity, and takes your heart and puts it in a little doggy bag and throws it in traffic for you to go get it, right? Most men, if you haven't hit the lottery in genes or talent, personality, and that is a small percentage. That is the 1%. If you haven't hit that as a man coming out the gate, it is a man's job to get rejected. And what makes you a man is getting yourself up, dusting yourself off, and doing it again. Right?
No crying?
No crying needed. You can cry a little bit, but you can cry while you're going forward to do it again. Just make sure you talk to that woman that you get the eye boogies out, make sure the snot, make sure your breath is right and not be following on buses. Make sure your breath is right. And then do it again. And put your
okay. Here's what the problem is. This is the way that they're ruined. They're not ruined like incel morons over here, right? It's not that. But what it is that, okay, basically things that they were with me, right? Because like the way that they saw me, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I'm just telling you what it is, okay? The way that they saw me is like, I'm like the ultimate dream girl. Like everyone thought I looked like Aaliyah when I was a teenager. So you're basically dating Aaliyah and you're dating the hot girl. Everyone is like, oh my God, you're so lucky to be here with her kind of thing, right? And then this woman rejects you really callously, zero emotional connection. The whole time that, you were just almost like, chasing her to give a shit for 2 seconds. I just couldn't be bothered. And so now what happened was, right, they associated the rejection with who they were and what they were like, which wasn't true, right? Because I've looked for the same things in men as far as the way they treat me, as far as their personality types, whatever, my whole life inclusively. And so if I look at, like my husband now, or any boyfriend that I dated before now, or whatever, they all do the same thing. So it wasn't about who they were or how sweet they were or how open they were or any of that stuff. It had nothing to do with that. It's just, other personality factors about you makes us incompatible, right? Like I never fell in love with you like that. Like it's just, was it your look? Not really. It was just like we just were incompatible. That was it. Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna fall in love with every guy that has a nice face and a nice body.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
there could be personality traits and things that, are just not gonna, jive with yours.
Right. Exactly. Right. And it's like I'm like, is it because you're a sweet, computer nerd that no one notices? No, because I go for that type. That's my type. I actually find that type attractive. So I mean, like it's like I think they associated though a whole bunch of things that they were with the rejection, and then basically it ruined them, and it made them people, in my opinion, that they're not really, but like part of that is like, they deal with, whores, basically, right? They deal with whores now because they don't trust anyone's gonna really like them like that. And the guy who was like so upset that I smoked some weed when I was going through a hard time, now instead of being anti-drug and anti-whatever, now all he does is he's a burnout, right? All he does is sit around and smoke weed, and it's just like I feel like I ruined them because they like rebelled against me and my breaking up with them.
Don't you take that on? You better let it go. Don't be taking that.
Listen, Ruby.
Because I was bored. I ruined a bunch of young, sweet boys because I was bored. That's why. Like I'm telling you.
That's too much. Don't be taking that.
Ruby, if you didn't do it and you actually care about people because you told them up front, right? You told them, listen, cut me quick, but don't cut me slow, right? If you did it the way you did it, and knowing you and you're mature and you'll tell people exactly what you're thinking, it's better, right? It's the fact, if you didn't do it, imagine if they would have got with someone else that would have been like this lady right here asking Char the answer that she's already going to do, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it like this, right? Everybody has this plateau in life, right? And you can supersede that, right? And a lot of times it's you learn things as men. I had to learn that being overly nice will get you stepped, stomped, and kicked in the nuts as a dude, right?
Yeah.
I have learned the art of being a petty jerk. It's a fine art. I get away with it. Other men can't do what I do, right? There are men that can get away with being really nice, right? Like, I give you a perfect example, right? I'm a petty jerk. I'll laugh, joke with people, talk with everything, right? I can't do what Don Teasy does. Don Teasy is funny, right?
Yeah.
I can't crack like Don Teasy, right? So I see women help men that pass the test of failure, right? We got to understand something. Real success comes from failing multiple times, and that's when you become a master, right? I can't look if I got up here and start talking like Jay Sean, y'all think I'm crazy. Right?
It would be weird.
I can't be him.
No, don't.
Yeah.
Right? I can't do it. I won't do it. But he can do what he does, and I respect that. He respects what I do. Other people, I can't be cerulean using 10-syllable words. Matter of fact, I can't even pronounce most of the words that he talks about. And I'm not going to try to.
That's all the word you
to
need
prove the point.
That's
Right?
it. I'm reading my election. I can say that right. My Baltimore accent and my big lips just can't get it out properly. It just, I know what I meant, but it's just not from the mind. So I'll let him do that. But that's his thing. And he doesn't try to be me. Every man finds their niche. Then what he also found out is that 8.5s to 10s are high maintenance, right? He found out a very life lesson. Something that is very rare and profound unless you have the aptitude to take care of it and the wherewithal to be confident in yourself to take care of it, you're not going to get the best out of it. I will not sit in a $500,000 car riding down the road pushing it to its limits because I can't afford it. But the guy that can afford it, that can buy another one that has the insurance.
But see, that's exactly what I mean, is that it wasn't about any of that for me, right? It was literally just your personality and mine are incompatible. Why? There's no reason, because technically your personality on paper is perfect, right?
Yeah.
Everything about you on paper is great. You and I just it just never clicked like that. So it just didn't work. But it wasn't about if you got money, if you got this, if you could take me here and there. I'm not that person, actually. I'm not. When I say don't care about money, I don't care. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care where we go or what we do. I'm not the one. I'm the one who's very content to like go to McDonald's and eat it in the car. Like I'm cool, right? Like, so it's not about things like that for me. But I taught them that lesson without it being true, which is, so when they meet the next me, now they're going to be an asshole, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to think they need to do all of this stuff, which is just going to run someone like me clear in the opposite direction, because everyone like that, I would run like, ew, I hate that, like I hate that kind of person. The whole thing about
it, and what Dre was saying is that you have to have that rejection in your life. There's just no way you're going to go after the first girl and you're going to get every girl that you want, or you're never going to learn.
Yep.
He spoke about how Jay Shine gets down. He spoke about how Cerulean gets down. Then he spoke about how he gets down. Each three very distinct gentlemen, and they have their own way about them. They are very confident in who they are and what they are, but you can't tell me, and they've said, they've not ever, dealt with rejection at some point in their life, and they found the man that they are today.
That's true, but I just wish I had been able to.
That guy, he'll be all right. Basically, is what Dre is saying. He'll be all right.
Not all right. Having children with prostitutes and strippers, they're not all right. But here's the thing. I wish I had been able to articulate then what I can now, because I didn't know, like, when I say, oh, well, it's just a personality, like, for example, so I like funny guys, right? But you have to be a particular kind of funny, and my sense of humor is weird. So, just because you have a sense of humor and, everyone at our school thought you were funny, but you didn't have my kind of, like, okay, like the guy that I'm talking about when we were 14, right? Everyone thought he was hilarious, but he was very like potty humor and very like in your face childish kind of humor. That's not my kind of humor. I'm more sarcastic and, deadpan, kind of like, asshole-ish vibes. Like, I'm like that. So, our sense of humor, even though you had a sense of humor, it just wasn't my sense of humor. There's nothing wrong with your sense of humor, though. The whole school thinks you're hilarious, right? You just have to, find a girl who thinks that's funny and likes humor. There's lots of them. It wasn't just me in the world.
And it happened. I said that was a turnoff. His type of, sense of humor was just a turnoff. That wasn't.
Yeah.
Instead of being a turn on, it was actually a turn off. Not that there was anything wrong with it, just because you were turned off.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
Exactly. But that's what I feel like. I feel like teenagers are evil. Teenage girls are evil. I feel like no, seriously, teenage girls are the worst ever. And so I feel like because of that, we end up, instead of guys getting to learn the lesson that they should about why this relationship fell apart, they learn lessons that they shouldn't learn. Do you know what I mean? And so you take a guy whose element, where he's going to literally, give it a few years, and he's going to literally be pulling in women left and right. They're going to be showering on him because of this personality trait, right? But he will shut it down and change it entirely and blah, 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 right? Because he meets an asshole me, who doesn't know how to properly articulate herself, and it says stupid things about how people are just toys here for my amusement. Well, like at that point, no, I did say that. I really did.
Wow.
Yeah. I was the worst kind of person. I was so bad, Char. Like, I was a really bad person.
Well, you know what I'm going to do?
I'm going to yourself, you were a teenage girl. You were coming into yourself, and, you had to learn, like, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to be so quite like that. There is a way of doing it, but
you pushed it.
You
He
had to
pushed
learn
it.
too, you know, and he had
I
to.
did.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a quick commercial break, see if I can find this guy to see if he's okay, and we'll be right back.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, folks, it's your nighttime, it's your right time DJ Music. Make sure you join Char Willie each and every Saturday, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central for article reaction, right here on your local YouTube channel. Don't forget, folks, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get a hold of him, so I'll look for him tomorrow.
Okay, I know. Just let him know, man. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
man. I'm
I
Ruby
sorry.
gotta
didn't
check
mean
on
it.
him.
Ruby didn't mean it, man. She was young too. You guys
And,
both taught each other. You guys both taught each other.
you
I
know,
know.
but it's like I had a conversation with like my ex-girlfriend and stuff like that with, whatever. Um, and we cool, we're good friends on Facebook. She's got two wonderful kids and stuff, and we were talking. And she was like, and she tried to ask me that question. She's like, what I did to you was horrible. How did you get over it? Like, because you was like the nicest, sweetest guy. How did you get over it? I went to the dark side. She started laughing, and then she remembered who I am, and she's like, "Really? Yo, yeah. Woo, woo." The women caught. Boy, whatever I couldn't do to you because I still liked you, they caught that work. I'm like, I said everything that you said I wasn't, I was to them. Not in a way that was like, just abusive, but it was in a way of finding that medium. And this is what I'm gonna say, Ruby. It's good that you admitted that you was that type of person, right? And you look back on it. Most women, they won't say it publicly. They'll say it in the confines or whatever, and know that they grow because people grow. But as just in life, we have to go through those things to toughen us up because life isn't sunshine and rainbows. Women have to deal with the opposite, especially pretty women. You get approached every day, right? Anytime a dude say, "Hey, let me get that bag for you. Let me open that door for you. How you doing, Miss Smile?" and all of that. And society, in your mind, you're thinking, "Leave me the hell alone." But you can't do that because not all the time, because the guy's being nice. You know what he wants. You don't want to deal, but you got to reply nicely to what he's saying to you because you don't want to be the one that messes it up for the next woman that wants that compliment, for whatever. And that's a lot of burden to carry on you because you're setting the bar, right? If you're in that percentage of pretty women, smart, and got a good outgoing personality, you're naturally going to attract people to you, right? Especially men to you that's going to look at you and catcalling and stuff like that. And it's just the way that things work. It's just nature. It's our job to go hunting, right? I watch Nature Channel. I watch it. I like watching, right? And you can watch a whole 30-minute segment on this wolf or on this young cub that got separated from the pride. He got living on his own, or that crocodile. And when you get to the end, he had to navigate getting killed himself, but he finally learned how to catch the prey on its own. But he's got to wake up, and what he's got to do, he got to do it again tomorrow, and do it again tomorrow. And that's how, I'm sorry, but that's how it operates. And you got away. You was the gazelle in the Serengeti. He was the cheetah, and you sidestepped him, and he tumbled 100 meters on his head, looking stupid in front of everybody. Now, it's not your fault that he didn't pick himself up and move forward. He just decided he wanted to be a scavenger. He wanted to just deal with women that were broken, that were pretty at one time in society, and they fell for whatever reason. And that's how he's getting over his hurt and stuff like that. And that's not your fault.
I think you know what it is, actually. I think to some extent, right, what they did was they found okay, so like one of them, right, they found women who are okay, not that pretty, you know, they're more average, but you know, probably like in a little bit of dim light, they got the right features, so they look great. But you know, they are simpler too, right? So you know, they laugh at the potty humor joke, and you know, you're nice to them for 5 seconds, and it's like, oh my god, someone treating me so nicely, and oh, you're not judging me for my past. Like, how do you have that kind of past at 15? But okay, cool, you know, and it's like, I think that's what it was. It's like finding, I guess, lowering your standards in a way as well, but then you also see, I don't mind
not wanting someone that's so pretty, because if she's too pretty, then you know she may hurt me.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas in someone who's less pretty, now the ball's in their court to hurt her, right? So you find someone who's less attractive than you, then the ball's in your court, because they're not going to want you to go away because you're the more attractive one. You're the better catch. So you catch that person and the ball's in your court. But at the same time, you also never plan on investing in this person for real or committing to them, because it's not really what you want, right? It's just what you're settling for, so that way you're not alone, and to stroke your ego and to all that stuff. And that's why, I mean, they ruin people. I ruined someone because he just now is going to create woman after woman after woman who is now an angry, bitter bitch, right? Because I created an angry, bitter bitch, and so on and so forth. So
I can see how
you know.
I can see how
he might balance out, you know, like Dre said, he had this experience, and from that experience, he took off like a horse racing, and he knocked them down, boom, 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 until it leveled out for him. You know, I don't get from Dre, you know, that he's bitter.
Nah,
but
I ain't bitter at all. I actually think that. I actually think.
Yeah, and the fact that he even still talks to the girl. So it you know,
We're still friends.
When we're going through this stuff, it's horrible. It's the worst thing in the world that we went through this, and I can't believe you did this to me, or I can't believe I did that to you. But these are the things that make us or break us.
Yeah.
Right.
And we learn from them. You know, my story, you know, when I was younger, you know, I wasn't, you know, a pretty girl. You know, there was always somebody prettier. You know, you have two types of girls: the ones that are pretty when they're little and grow up and grow old terribly. Then you have the ones that are not so pretty, you know, and they kind of blossom at a certain age. They get to a certain age and they blossom.
Yeah.
That's basically my story. Not that I was like an ugly duckling, but I mean, you know, we have our, you know, our features. It just is what it is. You know, so when I did blossom, then, you know, things start to shift. I mean, it had a lot to do with puberty and whatnot, but things shift and you're like, oh, wait a minute. But one thing about it is you're humbled, because you remember that, you know, people are fickle. People are only gonna like you, you know, a lot of times, you know, based on how pretty you are. And either you're going to be a shallow person and you're going to use that to your advantage. And a lot of people do, you know, I'm not knocking people that's what you do. But then you'll have someone that says, okay, I can remember a time when I wasn't so pretty and people were not nice to me. They were nicer to a prettier person. And that person had a horrible personality. You know, you see these things going on. And so for me, having those experiences, you know, I think made me a more well-rounded person.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not a mean, vicious, malicious person. And I
See,
think
that's the thing, Vonda.
about people's feelings.
Yeah.
You're a better person than me, though, because no, you are, because that's exactly what happened, right? I was unpopular. People were mean as hell to me. I mean, there's this one boy. I'll never forget this story. I mean, I probably told it before, but like I was so in love with him in middle school, right? All grade 7 and 8, I was so in love with him, and he was so wicked to me. He was just mean. Him and his friend Dane, they were so mean. That's right, Al Blake. I'm calling you out.
Oh my God, not again.
No, because he knows. Like we're cool now as adults or whatever. But you know, he was so wicked to me, so mean. And then one day, this was when I was now, you know, I've come into my own, right? And so now I'm the hot girl, and I was hanging out, and this guy, you know, excuse me, miss, you know, trying to be all cool and, you know, whatever, 15, 16. And I turn around and who is it but Al? And I'm like, up, right? And then he's hitting on me, and I really am like, you don't know who I am. You really don't recognize me. You don't know who I am. And he's like, yo, oh, have I hit on you before? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, you seriously don't recognize me. Like I played this game for a minute, and then even when I said my first name, he still didn't get it. And I said my first and second name, and he's like, and I'm like, then I said middle school, and I'm like, and he's like, from French? No way, nah, right? And then, you know, of course, at that point, then he's like, you know, after all of that and blah, 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 and then me talking about the, you know, horrible, he was so mean. You know, then he's still trying to get my number. I'm like, hell no, give my number.
Girl, I had the same thing happen to me.
Hell no.
Like, yeah, you don't forget that stuff. That stuff is etched in your heart. Just like, you know, when a woman, you know, does some shady, you know, mean stuff to you. It's etched in your heart. You remember that. But
you remember, but here's the thing.
I go out there and bang a whole bunch of boys because one boy didn't like me.
But see what happened is you became a better person. So you were a good person. When you blossomed, you became beautiful. You were a better person. I blossomed, became beautiful, and initially was a horrible person, like devoid of any humanity whatsoever. It's like, yes, it's my turn, right? So I did, in a way, I didn't bang a bunch of boys. If anything, I realized, like, oh, well, no, you know, not doing that puts me on an even higher pedestal, and I'm going to, you know, milk that for all it's worth. So that's initially, actually, that's why I said you're a better person than me. Because initially I went the totally terrible way. Right. Me, and then it caught up with me.
To only like someone because, quote unquote, because you think they are pretty, or you don't even know me. Yeah. You know. So to me, that's a turn off.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, right? And this is on like both sides of the spectrum. In middle school, Ruby, I don't know how things were working in middle school, and with boys, right? Just from my experience, you know, I was different because I was the only child. I grew up, my friends were adults, basically, right? So I only got to be a child when I went to go visit my cousins, my aunt, when I would stay the weekend. So you mature faster as an only child, right? So my thought processes were different. I knew I liked girls at a younger age in elementary school, and I would go up to a girl and tell her I like it, and she'll look at me like I'm crazy. Crazy,
you know, like my daddy would kill you
straight up. No, they were just like, "What is he saying?" Like, I didn't
like me, ew,
like yes and no notes, right? Because that's
boys still have cooties like that.
Like, hey, you
Andre.
Like, yeah, I didn't care. Like,
you with it or what?
Yeah, because I'm used to adults interacting. So this is what men do. Oh, she looked good. How you doing, miss? Let's have a conversation. Even when I got to middle school, men talk to women. You would have a conversation, get to know them. I'm just doing what I'm seeing adult men do. And I didn't know about this. Oh, she pushed me in the arm. She likes me crap. They don't do that. If a woman punches you, that means you did something wrong and she caught you doing something you ain't supposed to be doing, right? Like, they didn't do all of this because I'm not doing it right. So being, you know, knowing Ruby and knowing, you know, how she is Ruby was very mature for her age. These are immature young men. So he didn't hit his stride on actually coming up and telling you how he felt until that. Actually, a boy picking on you in middle school was his way of showing affection, but he can't be around the girl. Like, listen.
Oh no. He was dating my best friend at one point. Oh no, he had girlfriends. He dated Skeeter Chitterman. He dated lots of people. No, he was wicked to me. He was mean to me. Like one time when I came in on the 8th grade, okay, and I felt amazing because for when I had $100 pair of jeans. There was these silver jeans. They were like giant, wide leg, black skater jeans. I was so cool. I was wearing a tight black top that, you know, showed off my new budding boobs because I finally have a little bit, you know, and my little piece of belly skin. And I was wearing this silver, literally the color silver, button-up shirt over that. And I actually talked my parents into letting me have one of those bags that you slung, like, you know, it's like a computer bag style almost. Oh, yeah. Right. And most important, and my new black Fila's, right? So I'd never have gone to school with everything all new. And most importantly, my parents let me perm my hair, okay? And pierce my ears. I have everything down, okay?
Fine.
Right. So I walk into class. Right? And I'm feeling myself. I gotta admit, I'm feeling myself. Yes, grade 8, it's gonna be a good year for me, whatever. And this is the first time we have a co-ed gym. Okay. And for some reason, our co-ed gym was with one of the English classes. So I walk in and I'm a little bit late. Everyone's sitting on the ground already. I'm walking in, I'm feeling myself. I'm late, but everyone's gonna look at me and I look cool. Al turns around and goes, "Ha! Check out Ruby. She thinks she looks pretty." And the whole class burst out laughing.
Wow.
Yeah, like that. For no reason. I never interrupting what the teacher's saying even. He was mean to me constantly. If he had a chance to take me down 5 pegs for no good reason, he would. He was so mean for no reason.
I'm gonna say this, Ruby. I'm gonna say this, right? And this is why I say is the immaturity of young boys, right? And the immaturity of young boys, like, remember, women naturally mature faster than men mentally and physically at a faster rate. We all know this, right?
Yeah,
and
buddy.
I was not getting any play, right? Up until I got to high school, right? Because, you know, and then when I was with my girlfriend and stuff like that or whatever. But when I got, you know, graduated from high school, broke up with my girlfriend, and I went into the, you know, the petty dark side, right? I didn't have no problem. Like, I would see dudes that had the whole thing, spend their whole money on the thing and looking all nice and stuff, and I would have the most mundane, regular stuff on, and they like, "How are you pulling these women?" I said, "I don't know, but the reason that I realized what it was is just like I would pick them. Like I would look. It's like I would just sit up there and I would assess the situation. And I would say, all right, we got to me, it was a mission. The mission wasn't being with the woman. The mission was breaking her down. That was
you were into psychology.
Yeah.
You were into the psychology of the woman and her mind and what she's thinking and how she's going to react. So you had a whole plan. You probably had a dozen plans, you know, for each type of woman.
I went in there.
Pretty good.
If I saw the pretty woman, I'm looking. Okay, she got her friends. I'm looking. Okay, that's the fat, loud one. Okay, she's the bulldog. Okay, is the pretty one, and she's the leader, or should they just propping her up and everybody listen to the loud one? Oh, she's the actual leader. The loud one just says what she's thinking. She's the yes man. Okay, who's the quiet one? That's pretty, but don't think she's pretty because she doesn't have any confidence, and they subdue her, and and she's just tagging along because she don't want to be left out. I'm hollering at that one. I don't want that one. I want the pretty one, but I'm going to mess with her goddamn ego because I'm going to walk over there in front of everybody and talk to that one. And I'm going to talk to that one. And she ain't going to do nothing. And if she denies me, it's because the rest of them, she doesn't feel comfortable. But don't worry, I'm going to separate her from the pack. Yes. So let me go in there. I'm going to bring the homies.
Oh my God.
We come in there and we attack like jackals. Like we on them. Right? And we get in there, and I say, "Hey, how y'all doing?" And then if the pretty one like, "I don't know what you talking about," And I was like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to this pretty fine thing right here. I'm talking to her. What you talking?
You was breaking down with the psychology.
Yeah, like
ever. Yes. Okay.
Like, what?
Okay.
I'm like, you gonna talk about your homegirl like that? You pretty. Why would you hang around some ugly girls? She pretty, the fat one. She ain't pretty. I'm just saying she pretty. Now I'm causing
what you was doing
in between the mix. Now y'all confused because now they looking at you like, girl, what? Because they don't get compliments.
She's like, what you got going on, girl?
Yeah. Now they looking at each other, neck shaking towards each other. Bam, jump on them. Now we got old girl. We done separated, right? Before they even know it, we got her over at the food court, right? Hey, come over here. Let me holler at you for a second. She over here tee-heeing because she ain't get nothing. And then we over here talking. My homeboys running interference. Hey, what's up, girl? Well, we gonna go over here. They already over here. Yeah, what's up? What you like to eat? What's going on? Okay, shit. We sit down, talking, chopping it up. Let me get your number real quick. Girl, go ahead and put your number in here. Stop playing. Come on now. You pretty. Why you acting like this? Go ahead, put your number in. It better be the right one. Let me get that. Okay, cool. I'm gonna call it right now. Dude, see? All right, cool.
Look at you. If you don't get out of here, you almost.
We got
all right now.
Come on.
Hey, what are you doing next Friday? I'm not doing nothing. What you doing?
These girls were not ready for you. That's too far advanced for them. They was not ready for that.
Was not ready.
They was not ready for that, Dre. They was not ready for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the diabolical. I'm gonna tell you the diabolical.
Oh my goodness, Dre.
Oh, and then I'll pick her up, right? And I said, well, she said, well, you know what? What's the easier place to pick you up at? Maybe at your friend's house. What's her name? I will pick her
oh my
up.
goodness.
Look, I'll go rent a car and pick her up in front of the friend's house, open the door for her, have her coming back, drop her off, floating on butterflies. Next thing you know, the pretty one is hawking me down. I'm smashing everything in sight.
Hey, you are terrible. Oh my goodness. You know
calculated.
Right. You want to know what that came from? That came from you being an only child and being around adults. You learned game a long time ago, and you didn't talk a lot. You listen. You did not talk a lot. You listen.
And that's what we would go in there, and then you know what we found out, Vonda? We found out this wonderful thing. Women have other friends that don't like the other friends.
Wow. Go figure.
So, we running for a whole neighborhood.
You done had the whole crew.
We had the whole neighborhood. We had chicks fighting over each other. Like this.
Wow.
And then we go from crew. And look, I thought we was together. We never had no girl. We went out on 3 dates, but I let you get some.
Wow. Did you really?
And what are you talking? Did we ever have this conversation? No. Listen. I am
just threw it back on her.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? We never. Now, if I ran into a girl, see, this is where I did have, like with Ruby, I did have a modicum of respect. If I realized that this girl was really sweet and she was really nice and she was a nice person, and I myself, because I was a nice guy and I didn't want that to happen to me, what I would do is I would find one of these nice dudes, right? That I worked with. I was in the military. That was quiet because I had all kinds of friends. So I would put them in vicinity of each other, right? And then they would date, out, or not, or whatever. Or she would find somebody else, but we will be cool. We will be cool. We will be friends, and it's nothing. And we will be cool and stuff, and whatever. And if they needed something, she'd come in. Hey, I need somebody to talk to. This is what happens. Oh, cool. Go ahead. I ain't doing nothing. Hey, free nights and free weekends. Call me after Dragon Ball at 9:00. I will listen to all your damn problems. Don't burn up my anytime minutes. Everybody knew that. Every woman knew that. I had this older woman. She actually brought me a Nextel because she needed to talk to me. But at the end of the day, yeah, because I'm not talking. I got to pay for it. I ain't talking. So what's up? But what I learned from that whole thing was women have the same problems, just in a different package as men. We got the same problems, just in a different package, and we're all human. And once you break down the psychology of things to a certain degree in certain situations,
Right.
realize that people that are on both ends of the spectrum of, like, if you look at it right now, right? The real skinny girl used to get all the play, right? The thick chick didn't get no play. Right? Now you look on the other end of the spectrum, the thick chick is getting the play, and the skinny woman is not really getting the play like that, like she used to, right? And you can see it in society how it shifted. How did it shift? Where did it shift? We don't know.
That comes with culture. That comes with culture and music and movies. I mean, one thing about it is that the way that I feel is that people need to be happy with who and what you are.
Yeah.
At some point in your life, what you are is not going to be popular. It's going to be the opposite of you. And then you're going to come back in style, just like bell bottoms. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know, thick was not in, skinny was in, you know, then skinny is out. You know what? My thing is with me, and I had to learn this the hard way. I'm just going to be Vonda. I don't give a damn. Whatever I was then, I'm just going to mature. I'm going to grow. I'm going to be who I am. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to like it. Whatever you are, remember that. Regardless of what you are, there's always going to be somebody who's going to like it. Now, the one that you like may not like what you are, but that's their loss. And why would you want to be with somebody who didn't like what you were?
Exactly. Like I'm telling you, I figured out between the 8th grade and the 9th grade, I decided, I'm being very serious. When I say I decided I was going to be popular in high school, I decided. It came to me and I said, yeah, I'm going to be popular. I've decided that that's what I want my high school years to be. Remember, I have no experience being popular. I lost 20 pounds. Got a whole new little wardrobe there. And literally on orientation day, me and my best friends, we decided to cut line for the very long line for the barbecue, even though they said if you cut lines, they're sending you to the back. Then we told some bogus ass lie to the president of the school, who looked at us and just said, all right, go, and let all of us go through. And then that was it. That was it. We were popular. Like literally, I walked into high school the first day and I was popular because I had decided it. And that's when I realized that there is such a thing called manifest destiny and you can make it happen, right? But it's just like with religion, right? Faith without works is dead. You can't just sit there and hope and pray every day, do nothing about attaining that goal and expect it to happen. So likewise, when it came to men, now everything came in and out of style all the time, as far as, you know, your body, your looks, what I didn't know is what was in style or not, because I didn't care, because as far as I was concerned, I was always in style. Right. And I walked around. No, seriously.
Yeah. And I'm going to do a twirl. Wait a minute. Let me twirl. I need to get up. Give a damn.
Yeah. There's a reggae song. Yeah. There's a reggae song. Right. And it goes, I'm so special. I'm so special. I'm so special. So special. So special. Yeah. That's me. But see, the thing is I realized that if I thought I was hot shit, and I walked around like I was hot shit, then you were hot shit. It's what it was. You didn't have to be in style. You didn't have to be wearing the right clothes. You didn't have to be wearing the right shoes. You didn't have to be wearing makeup. You didn't have to be wearing weave. You didn't have to be doing nothing except thinking that you were the shit and putting yourself together like what you were wearing is the shit. And I realized as soon as I figured that out, that if I'm wearing clothes that I'm most comfortable in, I love the style. I love the way I look. I walked out there with that confidence today. That's how I got treated.
And
traffic would stop, blah, blah, blah.
Based on how you felt and how you carried yourself, what your swag was. You know, people have such an, like an aversion to the word swag, but all swag is confidence. Be confident in who you are, because my thing is, this is what you're going to get when you go to sleep. When you wake up, this is what's going to be here. So if there's some things you want to tweak it, but nothing's going to ever be perfect. And guess what? There's always someone better. There's always someone better looking.
Exactly.
You're never going to be the best looking, but you can be the best that you can be. So don't, just because you ain't going to be the best looking, you don't have to walk out looking like, who shot John and,
right.
they kill him.
Well, I kind of disagree because to me, I am the best looking, and everyone else's beauty is measured on my standard of beauty.
I'm all for that. Whatever your confidence level is, you know.
No, but my whole point is this, right? It's about what I think. If Vonda thinks that she's way more beautiful than me and she's the best looking, I'm okay with that. You know why? Because it's only what I think. I think I'm the most beautiful, and people who look more like me are more beautiful than people who don't. Why do I think that? Because I look like me. I don't want to look at myself in the mirror and go like, oh, look at me in my face. That's a 6 forever. Like, no, I don't want to think that. So I don't. And I think that's the thing. As women, we need to realize that to an extent. And I know guys complain about this. Oh, these women who don't deserve to be 5s are walking around thinking, or 10s thinking that they're 10s when they're really a 5. See, to an extent, though, I understand that. Now, I don't think that that should come with the shitty ass attitude of the girl who's been a 10 since birth. No, but I do think that women need to recognize and own that confidence and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be the best me I can be today. Right? Am I happy with me being at 220 pounds? I've been there. No, I wasn't. But you know, I did. I dressed like I was 120 pounds. Like I stopped wearing things for, 120 pound girls, right? Dressed my body for what it looked like. I put my hair for what my face looked like now and whatever. And I walked out there and no one realized how big I was until I got smaller again. Then they were like, holy wow, in comparison, right? But they weren't playing that game at the time because I didn't walk out there slumped over and dejected and clothes that are 2 sizes too small, hating myself, right? I walked out there like I'm the shit, right? It didn't matter. I'm the shit. I'm in style today. Why? Because I said so. And I think that's the thing. Women need to realize that unlike men don't get to do that. I mean, they do, right? Because you got a whole lot of guys who are pimps the way they get women, and you look at them and you're like, why? They're short, they're not that attractive, right?
You want to know when you find out, when you talk to them, you be like, oh, okay, right. I see exactly what it is. But you know what? You can fall under his spell just as easily as any of those other women if you weren't, aware.
Yep.
Exactly. You got to be aware. And it's okay. That's why I love to have men as friends. Men as friends will tell you a lot of things. And you know what? There's no ulterior motive. You guys are friends. They're going to talk to you. You guys are going to share things. And, I have male friends that, have told me things about them. And of course, just a male-female relationship, they do try to, get at you. And it's like, dude, you've told me way too much, and we're way too cool for it to ever go there. But
don't do it.
They're like, with it. They're okay with it because they are, but they're not going to stop trying because that's just the nature of it. Yeah. But so it's like, okay, but anyway, this is what I did, and I'd be like, oh, for real? And I'm like, so you know the nature of men, and guess what? Women tell the men things too, and that's why they know. And men have done things, so they know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, is the craziest thing about having those relationships and understanding. You find out what your pecking order is, and if you actually listen, as a man, I'm just saying it from a man's perspective. I learned a lot about myself by having conversations with women about what was the issue and the problem with me. So when my girlfriend broke up with me, and it was really bad, it was like whatever. It was a situationship breakup. And she did something, whatever. And the issue with that was, and I went to my homeboy's girl, right? Because we were tight, like that's like my sis, right? And he did some foolery, right, with her, but it's man code with me, right? I don't care if you caught him in the bed and I drove the getaway car. I ain't snitching. That's homeboy, bro code 5,000. Right? You got to just go along with when you're young, right? And she told me, you know what your problem is? And I was like, what's that? You too goddamn reliable. Too damn reliable. If you say you gonna do something, you gonna do it, and you do it past what someone expects you to do, And that's going to be your downfall in life. You're not selfish when it comes to people that you really care about. And you don't expect nothing in return. You're just happy to accomplish the task and to help them out, but you don't ask people for help yourself. It's one way with you. And that messes with people because you don't really trust people to help you, but you expect people to depend on you, and people find that scary. It's just, and she told me that, like, at a younger age, and she says you have to, she said when you're with someone, you have to be vulnerable with them as much as they're vulnerable with you. It's like you're hiding something, you're withholding something, and you're not there. You can tell them, but if they say, "How can I help?" You say, "No, I got it. I'm just glad that you can listen." That, that hurts and whatever. She told me that, and then I had to bring up whatever. Oh, and I went, I was in the military, whatever. She came down to Virginia to see me. She broke up with my homeboy and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
She came down to Virginia to see me. And, she was on vacation, but she said, "Hey, you down here? Let's meet up." And when she saw me, she pulled me to the side because we hung out all day. We went everywhere. And the way I was, she was like, "What? I don't even recognize who you are as a person anymore. Like, what the hell happened to you?" And I was like, "What you talking about?" And she's like, "No, like, it's scary because I remember the old you, like the one that we grew up with, but this guy isn't my bro. Like we would tell each other stuff and chill and stuff like that." She's like, "This is a guy I would want, but I scared to eat because I said, "Oh, you thought you was coming down here because, something happened with my homeboy. He did some egregious stuff or whatever he did. And because the egregious stuff that he did when they broke up is he did it to me. And me, I'm still cool, but I'll mess with him over there. So you figured is that you were going to come down here, we link up, cool, and then something happened. And then when y'all get into a we going to get back together argument, or y'all still in communication, you were going to throw me up in his face because you came down to see me and I'm doing better than him. And that's how that's going to work." And she paused. I said, "Stop, pause, and hold. You have no control if I mess with you. I have all the control."
All right now.
Well,
And then she got quiet. I said, "It doesn't matter what you do as a woman. You can go sleep with his brother, his cousin, his other best friend. I don't care if he didn't hold the code with me. I'm going to still hold the code because I'm a man of my word. He's still fam. He's still bro. I'm not going to do it. The only reason why me and you would get together is if he was dying on his deathbed, I wasn't doing me, y'all had a kid together, and this was like the 1400s where we passing the kingdom from one bloodline to another. I don't see you in that way. You sis, seeing you naked in a sexual way is like incest to me. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. But if you need to get out some sexual frustration, I do have a stunt dick over here. And
oh Lord.
What?
to go
What?
over and take care of you. No, this is how I would talk to women. Like when I went to the petty side.
Oh, fine, but what's the stunt dick?
Yeah,
Like,
what
is it?
definition on that one?
That's a stand-in one.
No, well, okay, so
You got 2 minutes.
okay, so you know how they say they tell a dude say he take an L for the team, right? Or he jumps on a landmine, the ugly friend. Yo, you got to jump on the ugly friend. I did that last.
Okay.
What you?
What the stunt dick is it's a guy that's in the crew that tries to be the alpha in the crew, right?
God.
But he's almost there, but he's not, right? He's got his own little personality. So he's got the best of the alpha, like the mellow side, but he's not quite him, right? So he's the stunt guy. They almost look like almost the same, right? He dark skinned, I'm dark skinned. We kind of act the same. We like joint at the hip. We like he's his own man, I'm my own, but he's less abrasive than me. Like he's more fine around the edges. But since I'm the edgy guy and I run the crew, they want I'm the guy out of the crew that will get the most because I'm leading the crew and I'm coming up with the plans, right? What he's the stunt. He goes in like a stunt man, right? Cut. He gets in. Smash, I go do whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what the stunt dick is.
Stunting like your daddy. Stunting like your daddy.
That's a no.
Yeah,
that's like a no, thank you.
No, it happens a lot. A lot of women don't. A lot of women don't know that they're falling for it. Like it's a thing. It's a thing.
Wow,
I believe you.
Okay.
They got that whole.
Hey, hold on. I just gotta say one thing, just one thing. Because I know Char is about to be like, yo,
60,
we're going now.
59, 58,
exactly.
57.
Talk, Ruby, talk.
Yo, she don't play. Trust me, I know. I work with her. She don't play with time. So I would want to say one thing, y'all. Listen, okay. This all started. The stream started with that video, and now we've been talking about all kinds of shit people on both the man and the woman side. I just wanted to say, y'all, listen to Mary J. Blige while you're watching that video from the beginning. Okay, just listen. You're not gonna cry out, right? All the time that I was loving you, you were busy loving yourself. Right? That's what it is, right? 11 years I sacrificed. What we've proven today, one way or the other, no matter how you want to look at it, is no matter how much you self-sacrifice, no matter how much you're giving on yourself, no matter how much you love someone, you think you love them enough for two people, that means nothing. It means nothing at all. If you're not happy, if you don't feel reciprocated, whatever, get out. Don't wait for them to do the right thing. And don't think that just because they're staying, it's because they actually really love you. Because clearly today, this whole conversation has proven that is not the case. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I appreciate it. And if you have time tomorrow, come back and check us out. We have the article reactions at 6:30 tomorrow p.m. Central Standard Time. And on Hump Day, got some time, check us out on GSRN, Keep the Beat segment. We have a great time at 8:30 p.m. Central. Come check us out on that. Don't know what that is? I'll let you know now. Have a good night, everyone. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Thank you.
Cheers. Hi, this is Char Willie from the JustAskChar Advice Channel. Join me and Classic Ruby for a radio segment called Keep the Beat. We broadcast every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from GSRN-radio.net. We discuss music, go down memory lane, and interact with the audience in the chat room. Just press the icon that is a speaker, press play radio, and 15 seconds after the commercial, the fun begins. You'll have access to emojis, gifts, and a lively conversation in the chat room. If you missed the live broadcast, you'll be able to listen to the replays on Mixcloud. Just follow me at JustAskChar Advice Channel on Mixcloud, and you will receive an email once the broadcast is uploaded. We look forward to seeing you soon. And until then, enjoy this show. Peace.